Good morning and welcome to my weekly Love and Gratitude series. As always, I'm so grateful to share with you what I shared in French. So this week, we delve into a topic that has been the center of many people's minds, although I will not talk about manifesting, but about the art of conscious creation. So living from your higher self instead of the ego. We have been taught many things about what we create in our lives and how to do it, some of them inspiring and some of them very misleading. Most of the times, the world tells us that creation is about setting goals, working hard, or striving for results, or visualizing what you desire. But true creation, conscious creation, is nothing like that. When we create from the ego standpoint, so outward desires pleasing the ego, we are constantly chasing outcomes, chasing success, chasing external validation, chasing external ways to do everything. And no matter what we achieve, the chasing never stops because the ego is never satisfied. So there is always a desire to create more, chase more, see if there could be more that we could do with what is already created. Everything to please the ego and the physical self. But when we create from higher self, we are no longer chasing. We are allowing what is for our highest good. We align with our will, with our higher self's will or God's will, knowing that what we allow will make us happy and even more. So the higher self knows that true creation does not come from need, desperation, or force. We all have the same basic needs. And more often than not, we are in our own way when we ego way about it. So it comes from alignment, inspirations, trust, faith. The moment we receive an idea, we have already planted the seed by thinking about it and by experimenting feelings related to the idea, to the seed. And each seed contains the whole sequence of its unfolding, and we cannot go against this sequence. The idea is the result image or glimpse of the image, a little like when you purchase seeds for your garden. And on the little paper bag, there's an image of what it will become. Our task is to take care of it, to tend to its surroundings. So hold a space for it to grow. But we are so very quick at taking an idea, analyzing it to see how we can make it grow in our own timing and care without taking into consideration its own needs. We all know that the result is not something we must struggle to bring forth. It is something we allow to unfold. And so it's the same thing with the idea we receive. So today we will explore what it means to co-create from a place of higher consciousness, where we move beyond the illusion of ego-based desires and step into effortless creation. This does not mean that there will not be any obstacles, because just like gardening, there are times when our task is to weed out what keeps the seed from having space and receive the light and the rain in its perfect quantity so it can grow beautifully. Let's first talk about the ego's illusion of creation. So the first thing we must understand is that what we call creation in our daily life is often not true creation at all. The ego creates based on lack. It wants to create from what it is already finite, so what it sees and perceives. It looks at what is missing in this picture. What's wrong with this picture? Because it wants something else. What is incomplete? And it wants to create out of an effort to fix things. I need more money because I don't have enough. I want more love because I feel lonely. I want more success so I can finally feel worthy. All those are ego-based. So can you see the flaw in this thinking? The very foundation of ego-based creation is built on lack, fear, and doubt. So no matter what is created or made from that standpoint, that energy remains its ego-based essence or false seed. So the energy of lack, fear, or doubt remains. It's in its seed, the false seed. This will make the result not being enough, wanting more in case of, or why not make it better? Those are the type of thoughts that will come. This is why so many people achieve their goals, yet they still feel empty, not truly appreciative of their own evolution and expansion. They might be grateful for everything they have, but there's a slight presence of something is still missing. It's why people manifest money and still feel poor. It's why they manifest relationship and still feel alone. Actually, to bring you a little deeper for a moment into that concept, the ego only makes things. It cannot create anything. It does not create anything. Only the higher self or the higher consciousness through our higher self creates. The ego is only experiencing the results. A Course in Miracle reminds us that nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Because true creation is not about chasing illusions, it's about aligning with what is real and not ego real. The reality is within ourselves, in the non-visible, in the unseen. What we see and experience is the ego reality, not the same thing. But the ego will want to make you believe that your ego reality is the reality, the only reality. Let's think about this for a moment. Can you think of a time when you chased something thinking it would fulfill you, only to realize that it did not? This is what the illusion of ego creation does. Creation from the higher self is an effortless flow. So let's shift into the truth of a higher consciousness. The higher self does not create from lack. It creates from knowingness, joy, and inspiration. Instead of saying, I need this to feel complete, it will say, I'm already whole. And I delight in expressing this wholeness. It's about expressing what and who you are. Creating is expressing. When we create from the higher self, we no longer see the result as the source of our happiness. We see the act of creation itself as the joy. You know, the saying about the joy is not the destination, but it's in the journey. This is what it means. Of course, we can and we will enjoy the destination, just like we can enjoy every result, whether it is a flower, a painting, or a book. And only the ego-based ways will make us think that we must work hard, struggle to get that result. So the journey is not what's fun, it's the result. That's the ego. So don't enjoy the path, just enjoy the result. That's the ego. Only the ego will enjoy the result. Actually, it won't even enjoy the result because it's never satisfied. Think about nature. A tree doesn't force itself to grow. It's actually never done. So its life is growing. A river does not try to flow. It flows where it is led. And it's always what it is while flowing. A flower doesn't work to bloom. It just does. It simply follows its own growth sequencing that's already in the seed. Creation happens because it is natural, effortless, and aligned. But we so want to go ego-based way about everything. Jesus says the kingdom is within you. This means creation does not happen outside of us. It happens from within us. We do not build things outside of us, but inside of us. The moment we receive an inspired idea, we already hold the entire creation within us. But the ego interferes. The ego sees the idea and says, how can I make this happen? We all do this until we stop doing it. Because in our current situation, actually, what we do is we might not see that we have everything we need to make it happen. So the ego panics, making us think that we cannot make it happen. We don't have everything, so we need to think about it. It doesn't see the invisible sequencing. But if we allow every seed to unfold by tending to them, so by following our inspired actions and be aware of the synchronicities, we will have everything in its divine timing to make it happen. We even decide from our ego standpoint how long everything should take for each seed to be in full bloom. We do that. But the higher self says, I trust this idea because it's already unfolding. My only role is to stay aligned and allow it to bloom. Have you ever had an idea that felt so right, but as soon as you started forcing it, it became difficult? You might have even thought and questioned yourself about, maybe that wasn't a good idea. That's the ego. This is because when we interfere with ego control, we block the natural unfolding. The ego-based thoughts and beliefs are like the weeds around the flower, choking it so it cannot grow. The ego wants results. It sees an idea and it sees it as a means to an end. But the higher self knows that the idea itself is already complete. Abrahamic's teaching is often misunderstood. It's actually teaching us that the moment you ask, it's given. The only work you have is to align with what you already created vibrationally. This means that the moment you receive an inspiration thought, an idea, the creation already exists. The only thing left to do is align with it rather than force it. Aligning with it means following our inspired actions, stepping away from our ego-based thoughts and ways. Think of it as planting a seed in your own garden. If you plant a seed and you keep digging it up to check on it, it will not grow. It will be like starting over and over again. Just like if you water it too much out of fear because you never know if you did enough, you will drown it. If you trust the process and nurture it with care, not the care you think it needs, but the care it will show you it needs, it will grow effortlessly. And effortlessly does not mean you don't do any action. It means you don't force from an ego standpoint. It becomes fun and joyful, and you take care of it and you enjoy it. What if you started seeing all your creations as seeds in the garden of your mind? What if instead of chasing results, you simply nurtured your alignment and allowed the unfolding? That would make you actually living as a conscious creator. So how do we fully step into the art of conscious creation? Well, Bashar teaches a simple yet profound principle about that. Follow your highest excitement and passion with no insistence on the outcome. Because we know it's fun to enjoy the journey. And we know the outcome is not what we live in our now. It's something that we will enjoy, but the outcome is not in our now. It's not what we live. So maybe that's the key you needed. Instead of focusing on what the result should be, focus on the energy that calls you in your now, no matter how long it lasts. Ask yourself, what excites me today? What excites me in my now? That doesn't mean to let go of your daily life responsibilities. It means enjoying the moment and the way that makes it fun. It could be something as simple as listening to some songs that you love while doing something you like a little less. That's the kind of things we can do. Ask yourself, what feels aligned in this moment? The ego will show you so many ways, so many options not to enjoy your present moment. It will say, but what if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if it's not happening in time? What if it's the wrong thing? It's not working, not enough. All the negative what ifs, all the worst case scenarios, that's the ego. And the higher self knows that there's no failure, there's only unfolding. We must be fully present in the process. We all do. I invite you to let go of the illusions that you must make things happen. Actually, as we saw, the only way to make it happen is to align and allow the sequencing to unfold. Be receptive to it. When you have learned how to decide with God, all decisions become as easy and as right as breathing. There's no effort, and you will be led as gently as if you were being carried down a quiet path in summer. A Course in Miracle. Creation is meant to be effortless. It is only the ego that complicates it. This week, when inspiration comes, trust it. When an idea excites you, move towards that. Even if it's only for a few minutes, a few seconds, it doesn't matter. When doubt arises, stop and release it. Realign yourself. Thank you for joining me in this week's reflection. I hope you enjoy my weekly Love and Gratitude series as much as I do, and I encourage you to share it. We never know who needs to hear this, so share it with your friends, family, audience. And always remember to breathe in, to let go of all your ego-based thoughts and vision, to see from your soul, and to love out. See you next week. If this reflection resonated with you and you feel called to deepen your practice, I invite you to explore the e-guides or spiritual mind treatments, especially designed to support your journey. You can also join the membership to access all these resources for free. And if you simply wish to give in gratitude, donations are always welcome with love. Simply follow the links in the description. However you choose to engage and share, know that your presence and devotion to your path are truly appreciated.